Activate elevator 3224.
What is up, everybody? My name is Aaron, aka Brick Matrix, and I am back with my second ever YouTube video, and it is going to be a second custom Lego review right off the bat here. Trying to pop out a couple videos so that I can get my channel and my subscribers rolling for a little bit. So I'd like to pump out in these first couple weeks as much content as I can, and that'll be easy because I already do have a couple custom models that I've already built and would like to review. And to continue the series, which is the custom Separatist Fleet series that I'm working on right now, I am going to reviewing today the Invisible Hand, or aka Providence class destroyer. It is a very beautiful ship, and it's very popular. I know that it's been widely receptive to the Lego community, the Lego mocking community. It's been around for quite a long time, and just to take a short little announcement, or just to make a short little announcement before I go and start with this review. Like I said, I'm a new YouTube channel, so I am trying to get some subscribers right off the bat, and in order to do so, I'm going to be doing a little giveaway right away. The first 100 subscribers that subscribe to my channel, I'll write them all down. I'm going to enter them into a hat, and I'm going to do a drawing, and one of those subscribers will be lucky enough to win a lot of a couple different poly bags that I have here. The first one is going to be the First Order Heavy Assault Walker poly bag. The second one is the First Order Star Destroyer Star Destroyer poly bag. I have a Target exclusive Millennium Falcon. I also have a U-Wing Fighter poly and Pose X-Wing. Now, like I said, I'm going to enter the first 100 subscribers into a hat, and one of those people will be the winner of this lot right here. So go ahead and like, subscribe my videos, and you will be entered for a chance to win those. So getting off to the start of this review, like I said, it is the Providence class destroyer, the Invisible Hand. It is General Grievous's second flagship. We've seen it in the Battle of Coruscant in Episode 3. Chancellor Palpatine was taken hostage aboard this ship, and the movie starts off with Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting their way to the ship and rescuing the Chancellor. And in the whole process, they killed they killed Count Dooku, and General Grievous escapes. And the ship is basically broken in two, and they are forced to land the front portion of the ship on a runway in Coruscant, saving the day, of course. So it does play quite a big role in the trilogy. And yeah, so to start off, this particular model generally has its name associated with the designer by the name of Anio, but what a lot of people don't know is Anio was not the original designer of this model. Anio actually took the concept and the design off of a guy by the name of Curtis Black. So yes, the design was actually created by someone by the name of Curtis Black. It first appeared on the forums, forgot the website, Mock Pages, and that was back in 2008, and the original design was a little bit different than this design, but the designer didn't really make a professional instruction or anything like that. He just posted it to Mock Pages, and a lot of people started liking it and asking him for the designs and instructions, but I don't think he had any at the time. It was just something that he had done and set aside. And then around 2013 is when Anio got his hands on the design, and he actually copied it and recreated it based on Curtis Black's designs. And what Anio did was he wanted to create a professional instruction manual, so he got in touch with Curtis, and they came to an agreement about whatever, and basically Anio had his media designer, I think his name is Frostmall, come up with the instruction manual for this ship. And what really caused it to take off is around the same time Anio had created his Venator model, which everybody is familiar with. Anio's Venator. It's a very beautiful design, and a lot of people wanted the invisible hand to pair it up with the Venator. So this ship immediately became popular once it got into the hands of the mainstream Lego community. So it's actually a very, like I said, this thing goes all the way back to 2008. It's been around for a while, and since then a lot of people have acquired the designs and modified the designs. And what's actually sitting in front of me is a little bit different than the original design that was designed by Anio and Curtis Black. Now, I tried to get in touch with Anio via his TechLug website. I'll put the TechLug link in the description. That's actually where you can go out and buy the instructions for this model. I actually purchased them back in about 2014, I believe it was, right from the TechLug website. He only asked for like a $5, €5 fee, but he also has it noted that, you know, he'll accept more donations. So if you go ahead and buy this from Anio, make sure, you know, they put a lot of work into those instructions. So definitely throw them a couple extra euro if you can. And let's see here, I wasn't able to actually get a hold of Anio. I tried to email him at his Satechnic email and tried to ask him a question through his TechLug forum, but he must be a very busy guy. He didn't really have time to respond to my question and answers. So what I did is did some research on the Eurobricks forums and tried to get some background info on Anio's design process and well, like I said, he didn't design it, but his thoughts and wanting to just recreate this design and not really go about creating his own invisible hand model that's more to scale with the Venator. So back in 2013, you know, in the Eurobricks forum where Anio had first posted the pictures of the instructions and everything for this model, people were asking questions why Anio didn't originally build the invisible hand to scale with his Venator. And his answer was, make it short and understandable, the UCSB wing is 66 centimeters long for one reason. He said, you can't correctly design a UCSB wing that is only 50 centimeters or even 85 centimeters because the parts on hand only make the model the most aesthetically pleasing at that 66 centimeters. Now, the ship, he said, its shapes, its accuracy you need, the flow, and the building standards, etc. lead you to conclude that the original design by Curtis Black was the best scale to design the actual model. And each model that designers design has different goals, has different limits, compromises, etc. You can hardly set a scale to a model and say, hey, I'm going to design all my models to this scale, because it doesn't work like that. You know, you have to take into consideration so many other factors, and those factors usually are, you know, what goes into the process of coming up with a design. Not so much, you don't start with just, hey, the scale. You have to start with like a certain part and determine what what scale this certain little section is going to be, and then you kind of have to build the rest of the model based on that scale. Now, if you build a model too big, the parts may not just work for you know, for creating the model in that size. It may not be accurate because there's no parts that actually work at that size. And if, you know, when you build a bigger model, you have to make things more accurate. When you have a smaller model, you can make more compromises about leaving things out and whatnot. So Anio, I think, felt that if he built this thing any bigger, that it just wouldn't have looked right. And someone did bring up the comment to him in the Eurobricks forum that someone by the name of Mark Kelso designed a invisible hand model that actually looked pretty good. And they asked him, well, if Kelso could do it, why didn't he really go about creating his to scale with the Venator? And he said that he has no future plans to create a scaled invisible hand that's in the size of the Venator. But even when looking at Mark Kelso's model, he said you can see that this underside portion right here looks too bubbly, and it still doesn't look right. And like he just said that even he said Mark, is a great designer, but even he doesn't think he personally could do a great job at that scale. So that's why he didn't even have any plans on changing, the original design. Now that goes back to, when I was talking on my last review about the Lucre Hulk. When it comes to building with Lego, the bigger you build, the more blocky things tend to look, because there's no slope, pieces that, work with, the slopes are only a certain size, and usually they're smaller parts, and when you build something that's huge, it tends to get more of a blockier look to it. So, like if you've ever been to Legoland, you see these big Millennium Falcons, they kind of got like a stair-step look to them because there's no slopes for that size of a model. So, a lot of these designers, they try to build the model to not like a certain scale that is always minifig scale, but to the best scale that works with the actual parts that they have to, in their inventory or in the Lego inventory. So, a lot of people may wonder why isn't everything built to minifig scale, and that's actually why. So, going through the whole build process of this model, starting off, I'd have to say there's about 1,700 parts in this actual model that's sitting in front of me. The original had around 1,600 and just over 1,600 parts, but the thing that's different about my model and the original model by Curtis Black and Anio is I have different engines and I have a different stand, and some of my greebling is a little bit different. Now, since 2008, we've had a lot more parts added to the inventory and a lot more greebling type parts added to the inventory. So we've been able to, slightly change some things, and I felt that the original design, I didn't really like the look of the stands. It was just two like tower pieces sitting on two plates, and it was just really basic, and it really just didn't appeal to me. So I actually bought an updated design of Anio's current design someone was selling. They took Anio's design and they updated the stand, and they sold it to me, and that's where I got the idea for the updated stand. Was from another designer, wasn't my own design, and that person had also changed the engine pieces and whatnot. So overall it is a very simple build, and the only thing I did was, where it transitioned from the hangar to the skinnier part of the ship, I reinforced the Technic in there a little bit so that it didn't sag so much. I felt like I was going to have sagging issues after a while, so I did upgrade that. And, there really was no rare, there was probably two pieces that I found that were actually kind of rare in this model, and the rest is pretty basic, but the only rare piece that's really here is the 2x3, or the inverted slope. It's a 1x2x3, or I don't know exactly. It's a 2x3 inverted slope in dark blue colors, and I believe it only came in one model or two models, and like I said, this is a very popular custom model, so a lot of people tend to be buying those pieces, and I believe they just, 6 of them cost me around $3 each. So there was only so many U.S. sellers that had them, and I had to, it actually had to order through more sellers for this ship than the Lucre Hulk because of those pieces. Only each person only had 2 pieces because the set that it came in only had 2 of those parts. So I had to order from 3 different sellers alone just to get 6 of those parts. Otherwise, it was a very simple build compared to the last review, which was the Lucre Hulk. Even though it's simple and it's mostly just generic slopes, it is very fluid. It flows really, the flow is really well. It's still very aesthetically pleasing. The other rare part that I guess I forgot to mention, it's not so much rare, but these screwdrivers that they use as antennas. Now, the screwdrivers, they only usually come in 1 per set, and they come in that little bag that you get all the tools in the one bag and there's only one screwdriver. So they do tend to be a more expensive piece. I believe the average is about $1.50 to $2 per screwdriver. So I did try to swap out some of those screwdrivers for just the 3-length bars in black. Otherwise, you know, the parts were fairly cheap. I did have most of my inventory. It's not that expensive of a build, truly. So now that I'm done describing, you know, some of the basics of the model, let's get into some close-ups, and I will try to, you know, talk over some other points that I'd like to get at and show you, you know, what this model truly looks like up close. Now here you are with the close-up of the invisible hand. First thing you notice is that the color scheme has been accentuated to better highlight the identity of the vessel, that it is a separatist vessel. It's got the yellow, dark bluish gray, and light bluish gray with some dark blue. Some people who've built it have actually used black here to make it stand out a little more. I thought that the dark bluish gray worked a lot better. You can see here the front of the model, the nose section is built with some slopes, or slope tiles, or slope plates, or whatever you call them. They're basically held on by the old school hinge pieces with the 2-3 finger interlocking. That's another part that is sometimes expensive to get. And zooming back, we can see that, you know, basically the whole entire model up front, you know, and on the top is built out of these just generic slope pieces, which give it like a sea vessel hull type look to it, but it does let the model flow really well with the use of some of these wedged pieces here and here when transitioning into the hangar side of the ship. As you can see, the side here, the greebling pattern is pretty basic, and it is just repeated on both sides. Even though it's basic, I still believe it flows, and I do have a discolored piece here. Don't look at that. So, then getting to the hangar bay, you can see that there is also a little bit of greebling on the side with some of these wedge pieces, and the hanger actually goes all the way through to the other side. Here's the rare pieces that I was talking about, the inverted slope parts of, you know, these are the upward facing ones, and the inverted ones are down here, and those are the ones you need 6 of that are, actually, sorry, 9 of, my bad. So, what else? Main communications tower is also gradually built. Is also a gradual build, and it looks very smooth. And you know, I think it looks pretty good. The tower, I believe, is a little thick compared to the actual model, or to the actual, you know, the real invisible hand. This seems to be a little bit thinner, but in order to do it with Lego and get, you know, the green in there and some of the other greebling and stuff, you needed to at least go 4 plates thick there. Like I said, my stand is actually an updated version of the stand. As you can see, it's, you know, it's built out of some Technic pieces and slope pieces. It is an updated version of what was actually designed by Curtis Black, and I feel like it looks much better this way. And as you can also see, my engines are a little bit different. Now, the original ones were like a wheel, but these were changed to be these hub pieces, and I used red transparent round bricks instead of the bright orange. And then, as you can see also on top, this is where I did the 1x3 bars instead of the screwdrivers, because otherwise you'd need like 15 screwdrivers and those can get expensive. Otherwise that's basically it. Like I said, it's pretty basic design, but it actually works. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and remember, if you do that and you're in the first 100 subscribers, you will be entered for the contest to win that 5 polybag lot. And just to give you a preview of what's going to be on my next custom review episode, I'm going to move this invisible hand aside and show you my custom Recrucent class light destroyer. It is another beautiful model, and I cannot wait to show it to you, so please remember to tune in. I'll try to get this video out to you within the next week. And again, thanks for watching. Have a great week.